You know that the Supreme Court is considering overturning the Roe v. Wade decision and pushing that decisions back on the state. So we're hearing a lot about what's going on there. And we here at Financial Issues, whether it be on this show or on the news, we're going to keep this issue in front of you because, you know, now the government is coming to the rescue of those poor women who are losing their rights to murder their babies. So why do we care about it? Why is this a financial issue? What does that have to do with my finances? Well, here's Janet Yellen to explain that to you.
I believe that eliminating the right of women to make decisions about when and whether to have children would have very damaging effects on the economy and would set women back decades. Roe v. Wade and access to reproductive health care, including abortion, helped lead to increased labor force participation. It enabled many women to finish school. That increased their earning potential. It allowed women to plan and balance their families and careers. And research also shows that it had a favorable impact on the well-being and earnings of children. There are many research studies that have been done over the years looking at the economic impacts of access or lack thereof to abortion, and it makes clear that denying women access to abortion increase their odds of living in poverty or need for public assistance.
Well, thank you, Janet Yellen, for explaining to us why we need to continue to give women the right to murder their babies. And that is a wonderful economic reason that you give there. Well, you know, one of the reasons that abortion even exists, if you look into, you know, why this came about and why it's been supported and who it's been supported by, it's been supported by globalists. And they believe that the earth is becoming overpopulated and that in order to protect and preserve their own lives, that they must figure out how to protect and preserve this earth. You know, they think that they know better than God how to preserve their own lives, even though they had no participation in creating their own lives, and they can't even do anything to sustain their own life. You know, it means sacrificing the lives of helpless and unborn children so that they don't take up space and resources that these globalists need and want. So this plan for abortion was hatched in the pits of hell. And our God is a God of abundance. He does not operate out of scarcity. He says that He will richly supply all of our needs, and He has the ability to do it. You know, you can hear Dan's explanation of the Great Reset. That conference call is still up on the website. So if you're a partner and you want to go there and listen to it, it's a really great thing for you to understand how the kingdom of darkness is operating in this world. So here's the cry from Yellen, the globalist, and the liberals. Save the earth and kill the babies. That is the cry of this world. And the left would have you believe that the earth takes priority over everything. That's because they do not have an eternal perspective and they do not respect or believe in the God that we believe in as Christians. Do they really believe that we have to save this earth because it's the only place that we can or will live? Do they really even believe that they have the ability to save the earth? Friends, this world is passing away. Jesus said so. The world is temporary. Life is eternal in one place or another. Let's get this right. The earth was made for people, not the other way around. The wind and the waves obey their creator, not the other way around. They don't obey us. Creation cries out. Jesus said in Luke 19:40 that if we, the crown jewel of all that He created, don't cry out, that the stones would cry out, testifying to who He is. So let's shift our perspective. Let's change our minds about what holds the most value. Is it the earth or is it human life? The earth is passing away, but human life will last forever. Here is the fundamental difference between the left and the right, believers, non-believers. They want to save the earth from overpopulation and climate change. We want to save the world. God prioritizes life, human life, over the earth. He sent Jesus to save people of the world, not to save the earth. And that's what we should be doing too. Abortion is a financial issue, but not in the way that Yellen would have you believe. We have to allow it so that women can remain in the workforce as productive members of society. It is a stewardship issue. And here's our perspective at financial issues. This is why it is a financial issue. Our goal here is twofold. One, we need to defund the kingdom of darkness. And we do that by promoting biblically responsible investing. It's like, how can you make that connection? How am I going to make that leap? Well, when you take what the world calls an ownership position, let's just remember, we don't own anything. Everything belongs to the Lord that created everything. We just get to take care of some stuff while we're here. And there's going to be a test. We're going to meet the master one day, and we're going to get to give an account of what we did with that stuff. So if we own a stock or a mutual fund or, some investment with the money that God put us in trust of, then we become complicit in whatever that company is doing. So if I have an ownership stake in a company and they make a profit, well, part of that profit belongs to God through my ownership, stewardship, and control of it. Now, if that company is using money to transport their employees from one state to the next so that they can receive the health care or abortion that their state won't let them have anymore, they're using the money that God trusted me with, and I become complicit in that. So we have to stand up as Christians and say we don't want our money going to support those things that grieve the heart of the Lord. The second function is that we fund the kingdom of light. So a big part of stewardship of financial resources is giving. So when we give into kingdom work, we now become complicit in the work of the Lord and the work that He calls us to do here in the kingdom. And folks, there are eternal consequences. It won't, what you do with your money here on earth won't determine where you spend eternity. It'll determine, how well you spend it. If you're a believer and you have salvation, the scripture tells us that we earn up or we store up eternal treasures by what we do here. So there's going to be a test, and we all have to be aware of that one day. So we have to be cognizant of what we're doing with the money that the Lord trusted us with. Dan would always tell us that, we're commanded to give a tithe, but it's not just the tithe that God owns. The scripture tells us that we're robbing God if we refuse to give the tithes and the offerings that He commands, but He owns the other 90% too. So, Matthew 25 tells us the story of the parable of the talents. And there's going to be a test. We're going to get to meet the master one day. And we're going to hear one of two responses from it. Well done, good and faithful servant, or away from me, I never knew you. And you say, well, if I'm a bad steward, does that mean that I don't know the Lord? I don't know. Maybe. It very well could. That's what the story indicates there. Because if we know the master, if we know the master's heart, we will trust Him. We will know that He has good planned for us. And Jesus went on to say, if you love me, you will obey me. Obedience indicates that we trust the Lord, that we believe that He has our best and highest purpose in mind, and we will obey Him with the things that He's given us.